Nemeta sat in the center of the open plan office, a silent operator in a sea of noise. She was precise, diligent, the kind of employee who disappeared into the work. It was a dry, static afternoon. The only sound in her cubicle was the rhythmic clicking of her mouse. She was reconciling the Q3 inventory logs when the pattern emerged. It wasn't a glitch, it was a hemorrhage. Inventory transfers that existed digitally, but physically had never left the warehouse. Ghost stock. As she traced the data backward, the cold reality settled in her stomach. This wasn't an error. It was a sophisticated siphon, draining millions. And the terrified realization that froze her hand over the mouse, the authorization codes were hers. Panic, cold and sharp, spiked in her chest. Someone had been using her profile. The scam had happened under her, through her, without a whisper of doubt. She didn't wait. She grabbed the printouts, her heart hammering against her ribs, as she rushed toward the glass office at the end of the hall. Mr. Vance's door was open. He was a man who smiled too much with his mouth and never enough with his eyes. He looked up as Nemeta burst in, the papers trembling in her grip. "Nemeta, it's the West Coast distribution," she said, her voice tight. She slammed the papers on his mahogany desk. "Look at the timestamps. Phantom shipments. Someone has been bypassing the physical checks and overriding the system using my login credentials." She waited for him to pick up the phone, to call security, to panic. Mr. Vance didn't look at the papers. He looked at her. He slowly took off his glasses and cleaned them with a silk cloth. The silence in the room grew heavy, oppressive. "You found this just now?" "Yes, I was reconciling the..." "And who else have you told?" His voice dropped an octave. It wasn't concern. It was calculation. "No one. I came straight to you." A slow, unreadable smile spread across Vance's face. He finally looked down at the papers, tracing the incriminating column with a finger. "That is unfortunate, Nemeta." "Unfortunate? We have to stop it." "We can't stop it," Vance said softly, "because it's already finished." He opened his drawer. Instead of a weapon, he pulled out a single thin file folder and slid it across the desk. "You see," his voice smooth as oil, "corporate flagged these discrepancies 3 months ago. We've been building a case. We needed to know who the internal point person was." Nemeta opened the folder. It was full of emails. Emails sent from her account, authorizing the theft. Emails she had never written. "I didn't write these," she whispered. "They came from your IP address, during your shift hours," Vance said, standing up and walking to the window, blocking out the sun. The board was looking for a scapegoat, Nemeta. Someone quiet. Someone diligent. Someone who controls the inventory but never questions the orders. He turned back to her. "You were the perfect invisible employee to frame, because who would believe the quiet ones aren't hiding something?" Nemeta realized then that the office wasn't a workspace. It was a cage. She backed away toward the door, but the lock buzzed. The heavy glass door clicked shut electronically. Vance picked up his office phone. He didn't dial the police. He dialed a 3-digit extension. "Security," Vance said, his eyes locking onto hers. "Send a team up. Nemeta has just confessed to the embezzlement. She's becoming hysterical."